Hello everyone, I'm Derek Edwards, co-founder and CTO of Coach Logic, startup a couple blocks away from here. And topic tonight, I'm going to teach you how to build Slack in 5 minutes. In reality, just going to show you how to build a quick real-time WebSockets-enabled chat in about 5 minutes. And so we'll jump right in. So we're going to use Ember-CLI as the base on the client side. We're also going to use a Python Tornado server on the back end to act as our chat server. We'll go ahead and run our server, we'll run our client, and basically we'll see some magic happen. So jumping right in, for those of you familiar with Ember-CLI, we're basically going to create a project folder, init Ember inside that directory. In this case, we're using the Ember WebSockets module. Makes it really easy to interact with WebSockets within Ember. We're going to create an initializer for the WebSockets, and then we'll just create a quick route and controller for the application. One quick note on the side, we need to add a quick content security policy to make sure that we can access our WebSockets, otherwise Ember in the browser can sometimes throw a fit. But moving past that into more interesting things, we're going to set up our initializer so that you can access the WebSockets module from anywhere within the application, any controller. Again, pretty quick, just injecting it in to make it available. Our main application controller, again, keeping it pretty simple. We define a few attributes to capture the user's name, capture the message they want to send, and then we're going to keep a message array. We're overriding the init function so that we set up the WebSocket controller, set up a few handlers, and the key handlers that we want to tie into are the message handler and also defining an action for sending a message. So you can see we have a message handler. When a message comes in from the WebSocket, we basically parse that, pull a JSON object out of it, and add it to our messages array. And that message array will be used in just a minute to display the messages. On the flip side, we have the send message action, and that action is called anytime the user enters in the message and hits the send button. We package it up into a payload and quickly send it out over the WebSocket. Within the application template, we're basically keeping it pretty simple, capturing a user name, define an input field to capture that name. We have a block down below to iterate over the messages in the array and display them inside of an unordered list. And then we have a field for capturing a new message and a button for triggering sending of messages. And we'll see what that looks like in just a second. That's about it as far as the Ember app itself goes. We're going to jump onto the Python side really quick and set up a virtual environment. Install Tornado. Tornado is basically a low-level web framework that has good WebSocket support. What that's letting us do is create an entire WebSocket server in 26 lines. So we import a few things from the Tornado framework. The big things that we're doing here are overriding a few handlers. When somebody connects to the WebSocket server and triggers the open event, we add that client into the client's list. And the reason that we do that is so that anytime we receive a message from the WebSocket, we iterate over the clients in that list and rebroadcast that message out. The final piece is that anytime somebody disconnects from the WebSocket server, we want to remove them from the client's list. And with that in place, let's see some magic. So I already have this up and running on here, but you can see we have Chrome and Safari both talking to the server. And we'll send a message from one side. And you can see it shows up on the other side. So two browsers talking to each other, sending WebSocket messages across the chat server. The client on the other side consumes it. And that's about it.